Hello, everybody. Welcome to our show. Our show today called Born Under Punches. This is a show where we will interview special people of the community with passions to help our community. This week's guests are from the CISP group. There's 4 ladies who run this group. Sorry, I don't know if they're all ladies. CISP stands for Community Income Support Program. But before we get into this interview, and also after we get into that interview, we'll be playing some tabletop games. But anyway, before we get into the interview part, I'd like to invite my co-host out. And I'll also introduce myself. My name is Paige, your host today, and your early 19s tween boy heartthrob. And Kelly, would you come out and introduce yourself, please?
Can we get like some good, like I don't know, some like WWE entrance music for me, for the guests, for everyone like that?
That wouldn't be a bad idea.
Yeah, you bet. We'll have a custom audio intro for you in the next week.
Oh,
all right. I'll hold me to that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You should just sing yourself an intro, Kelly.
No, it's got to be instrumental. I think I can't really be like captured in words. That's kind of like my essence. So
the voice is an instrument. You don't have to say words.
Not my voice. My voice. It's like my voice is like a mandolin. It's like just persistently out of tune.
What is that? That's rude. I take offense to that directly. Yes.
Well, you're welcome to. So that was a very sincere intro, Paige. You called an audible on the fake intro playbook.
Nice.
Do you wanna walk me through your process on that?
My process of talking about the show?
Yeah, like how are we gonna misdirect people if we don't give a fake intro?
Oh, right. No, I was gonna actually talk to you about the intro, or not the intro, more of the fake part. I wanted to introduce the show as is because it's very confusing most of the time when it's not introduced as what it is. I know that's your bit, but I'd like to introduce to you a new idea, spin-off, or just whatever the heck. Once we get big, we can do spin-offs for the show, and we can call it Born Under the Bed. How does that sound?
Go on. What's Born Under the Bed about?
Well, exactly what it says. Midwives in the home under the bed for the monsters who live there.
The midwives go under the bed?
Yeah, because monsters live under the bed and they have babies, Kelly.
I thought it was a separate role from the midwife that goes like the midwife delivers a baby, but it's like the 3/4 wife that goes under the bed.
Half wife?
That's the midwife. That's right in the middle.
Oh, mid.
3/4 wife goes under the bed and deals with.
What
the
about
monsters.
the median wife?
I think that's still the middle. You got to look at all these other fractions, like the 1/10 wife, the one who's like, keeping like the kettle on so that you got like some nice tea to feed your baby. Babies love tea.
Which wife runs the towels?
5/8 wife.
5/8.
Yeah.
5/16.
No, 5/16 wife is what I was training to be. That's the one who kind of like comes in and like really just squeezes your hand, tells you you're doing great. It's one of the easiest of the like fractional wives.
Mm-hmm. And then there's also something called a doula, I believe, and this is different from the half wife. Sorry, that sounds weird. Midwife, 5/16 wife, 7/32 wife. This is all different, but like the doula. Are you familiar?
Yeah, because like you've got the half wife, as you say, and the doula is the half wife too, and then there's like a third half wife that never comes out. But yeah, go on, tell me about the doula.
Oh, I don't know much about the doula, but there's something also called a don't-la.
Yeah.
Who rings the doorbell and runs away.
Okay, call me like maybe I don't respect like, ancient traditions, especially of like maternal societies, but I'm not into the don't. I don't actually think it's a important part of the natural birthing process.
Okay,
Like to
but
me, that's a good thing that we got rid of that.
okay. Can you birth a baby?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, they taught me in a class once. It's really easy. You
In
basically
the
just catch it.
5/16 class, really?
Yeah, well, I mean, you have to be able. The 5/16 is one of like the first wives to step in for the midwife if they get sick or if they're going to check on the doorbell, which, as you can see, is a problem when you have the don't let coming in and ringing the doorbell. Like you're right, it's taking the midwife right out of it.
Right. But then it also gives experience. It's like, I've heard recently that you swing hammers for a living lately, and on construction sites there's like apprentices, right? So like you gotta eventually trust the apprentice with the hard job sometimes. So I feel like it forces, these other wives, not half wives, not midwives. It kind of pushes them into the role that where maybe they haven't done before and they learn something new.
Well, I can't argue that. I think we should put you in charge.
Me in charge of what?
In charge of like the hospitals,
much?
I guess.
How much money?
Well, I'll have to wait for the next like provincial budget, but like we'll make some room for you.
Nice. It's gonna have to be at least 2 feet wide. Dump
yeah, that's
truck.
perfect.
Yeah. Okay.
But I want to pivot back to your sincerity page because I have something I wanted to talk about tonight, and it's a sincere question.
Something I don't often hear from you.
Well, I mean, I feel like you're our sincere host, and we have some very, very sincere guests. So I'm going to be in my best behavior tonight.
Okay.
And with that being said, we've already kind of fucked around a bit. Should we bring out our guests and then we'll just get right on to the issue at hand?
I would love to. So we have 2 of 4 members from CISP today. Bree Russell and Katie Vaders are here with us today, and we're gonna badger them with some questions about this program that they've put together for the city of Edmonton, and maybe even wider. I don't know. Maybe that'll be one of the questions.
Okay, and to bring them out, do you want to sing their intro music, Paige? You seem to have a pretty good handle on how to do that.
Da, 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 da. I need a little maraca. I need a little egg full of beans.
Well, I believe David will pay for the maraca if you need a maraca for your intros, but you have to pay for shipping.
I have to pay shipping. Okay.
Yeah.
But what about an egg full of beans?
I don't know, David. He gave a thumbs up, which is extremely helpful when he is both not on camera and just not on camera.
What I mean by the thumbs up page is yes.
Ooh, new information. I like this.
All right.
Awesome. We have Bree and Katie here with us now. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome. And I would love to just start by asking about CISP. And I wonder just where the origin kind of came from.
Oh, that's cool. We're done with my question.
Well, first of all, you don't have to put in the whole effort of saying CISP. You can just call it CISP. That's what we like to call it. It's kind of fun, almost like a lisp. Yeah, I guess, Katie, did you want to talk about origins a little bit?
Sure. So a good friend reached out and had an idea, and she just kind of reached out for some friends to help her.
Closer,
Am I close enough?
Closer.
Okay, wait,
There you go.
Actually,
Now
I think we need to back up a little bit.
Yeah,
'cause-
sure.
So I think the first time that I kind of heard about all this was she actually posted on Facebook. And she had this post being like, I'm so tired of all my friends like who can't get the support they need. suffering and not having the money that
Right.
they need.
And this was right after there was a whole bunch of cuts, right?
Yeah, and like right in the throes of COVID and people losing their jobs and just general like poverty.
Right, because Alberta had a bunch of cuts going on well, I guess I don't live there anymore, but like I read about it in my paper here in Victoria. So
oh yeah, it's been ongoing. It's been great.
yeah.
And there was like a lot of feedback on that post. Tons of people commented. She was like, if I just started like a grassroots community driven thing where we all just pitch a little extra money, like who would be into that? And we could redistribute it to all our friends who need it. And that's, I think, kind of how it started, because there was so many people who commented on that being like, heck yes, I want to be a part of that.
Yeah, I remember that now.
Yeah,
that's the very baby stages of it.
Yeah, I think like Paige raised a good point, because Alberta was quite prepared for the pandemic in that they were making those cuts like way in advance. Like before anybody even heard of COVID, we were already like cutting all kinds of shit, being like, we need to absolutely like strip all the nice stuff out of our society just in case something bad happens. And look who's laughing now.
We want to get ahead of the curve.
Ahead of the curve.
We want an advance on poverty. That's what it was.
Yeah. Being ahead of the curve, though, there's still a curve, right?
Yeah, but we're just like further ahead on the curve.
Yeah.
Yeah, number one, baby.
Number one curve.
So that was something from your document that you sent me, the kind of like the, I don't know, brochure or whatever you want to call it, that was interesting, was that it was like by design intended for like as a like pandemic tie-in thing, like, and you were going to revisit whether or not it continues afterward. So like, is that still kind of like you're uncertain about it, or?
Yeah, actually, it's so small that we rely heavily on donors, and we can only take a few applicants at a time because we only have so much money. And so, we're always trying to put a call out for more donors, and so that we can help more people.
And the first kind of intake, we had no idea what to expect. We were a little worried that it might be bigger than we could handle, because we really want to try and help as many people as, reached out. So we committed to 4 months of like a monthly amount to support people who applied. And with that, we could only support like, 70% of the people who applied, around there, with the other people kind of like on a waiting list or with a one-time amount of money to help. And then people just kept donating, and we had this consistent thing kind of going on. So we actually extended it to 6 months, partly because we didn't want to do the work of having a reapplication, and partly just because 6 months seemed to make sense. And then just recently, I'd say about 3 months ago, we had a second round of applications where we kind of reassessed everyone who was in the program. We like checked in with them to see if they still wanted to be a part of it. And then we took on new people. And so we're kind of looking at another 6 months, and beyond that, we have no idea. We're just kind of taking it day by day, seeing how it goes, seeing what kind of response we get, what kind of need there is. Yeah.
In terms of the response you got, like the people who did like respond as donors or as prospective donors right away, like can you tell me about who those people were, like what like had them jump at the chance on this new thing of like, here, just like take some money and distribute it? Like, can you tell me like, was there a trend in who was interested, or was it like?
Well, I'm not sure that we could go into like too many details.
Right.
We haven't done like a full analysis of who was helping out, but generally speaking, it was like people who we know, like in our community, who are friends or friends of friends, who just have extra money, extra income, or enough to like get by, that were like, yeah, I want to help out my fellow people.
Yeah, because like this is a bit of an assumption, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but like I think an issue that a lot of like mutual aid community support can run into is that like these systems would be ideal of just putting resource in the hands of people who need it if those resources came from the people who had the most. But what tends to happen is like for example, it's well documented that like lower income people are way better tippers. Higher income people are often like very stingy tippers. So I was wondering if that like pattern kind of manifested itself, where it was like, it's like it's the people giving a dollar because it's their extra dollar, not because they're already like very well off. Like, did you kind of find that, or like, I know you don't want to give away the information about your.
Yeah, I like, I don't see into anyone's bank accounts, but like, I feel like I've seen that like be the case, is that just your kind of average person who is like, I have $20 to spare, or I have whatever, $50 to spare, something like that. Yeah, we don't have any quote unquote rich people donating to our cause currently, but we have had like a few donations that have been like maybe a couple $100 kind of thing.
No Jeff Bezos though.
No.
Yeah. No Bezos.
Yeah, come on, Jeff.
Calling him out here now. Email.
I think generally speaking, we kind of provided the guideline that like, donate an hour's worth of your time. And so it would scale based on, what income a person was making. The person's making $15 an hour. Okay. I mean, they could donate that. They could donate whatever they wanted, but that was kind of like, yeah, donate an hour's worth of your time each month to help out your friends, your community. And so there were some bigger donations, definitely. There was also like, for example, my dad just wanted to help out and donated like maybe like $100 or something, just like a one-time thing.
Yeah.
I think there was some family support, which
I mean,
nice.
I sent it to my family, but like radio silence. Like, come on, I started this venture.
You got to bring it up at Thanksgiving, maybe.
Yeah, there's a bigger
time
crowd.
of the year.
When there's like the pressure, when there's like the familial pressure to like be a do-gooder or something.
Yeah,
right in the middle of dinner, everyone's just eating peacefully. Like, so hey, you gonna donate?
Yeah, do you feel guilting is a skill you need to work on, like just for you personally, Katie, or like? Because I mean, I know some people who are very good at it. I mean, I don't know. I feel like.
Hey, what was that look, Kelly?
Are
Why
they giving training?
Well, no, I'm not going to mention who I'm thinking of, but it's not important. Yeah, like I think like I can imagine though, like that the pitch is probably one of the hardest parts. Is like, there's already a lot of like causes out there. There's a lot of charities out there. And I think a lot of people, like myself included, are like, I don't feel like I feel like I have only so much to give. Like, who do I give it to? Like, yeah, I don't. Is there anything you've been successful in terms of like making it part of your pitch so far? Like, is there something that you found? Like, what has been your angle to trying to tell people like this is why you should pay attention to us?
I think the fact that it's a very personal endeavor that is very much about just helping out your friends and the people in your direct kind of community or like friends of friends has been the main angle. It's like this money is going to people that you probably know directly or people that through someone else.
Yeah, actually, that's right. It's like, because like when you donate to something like really big, a lot of people just like, they don't know they don't even know their impact. So I feel like this program, the community members are often in direct relation to people who apply. And then as well, like the application process isn't, because like with people who struggle, like sometimes the bureaucracy of trying to get money, like, you've heard everything about, trying to get on AISH or you like whatever. This is like, you tell us your situation and we do our best just to like help you. There's no, like, how do I explain this? Like,
we're not an official charity where we can basically, it's all trust based pretty much. Like we've tried to be as transparent as we can with everyone by sharing updates with the donors on like, you know, how many people we've helped and how much money's gone out. And we show everyone our bank, like in and out transactions. And basically we're just asking the community to trust us to take the money that they've given us and redistribute it in an equitable way. And usually we try and do that as like, I don't know, like as equally as possible, as equitably as possible between all the people who apply. And we try to help everyone.
I think
Yeah.
I've heard everything I need to hear. Kelly, go ahead and open up that wallet.
I will
Yeah,
be
come on, Kelly.
I will be donating as soon as I'm done my, you know, unpaid internship I'm about to start, and like I actually have a financial like consistent stream. Absolutely.
We have seen some drop off in donors. We're now on like
Mm.
month 8 or 9, so things are slowing down. So yeah, we're definitely going to be reaching out to people to try and pick up some engagement again. I think there might be some element of people thinking like, oh, COVID's done and things are going back to normal. But realistically, like there are a lot of people who are still just getting by month to month, who are living on like the bare minimum through AISH or Alberta Works, and just like would do so well having an extra $50 to $100 a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you let those people know that we're in the best summer ever?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Right.
like, man, we're kicking ass in terms of like, I don't know, smoke. Like, yeah, we've been killing it on the
I
smoke
feel like
front.
I feel like I saw this meme like today.
You're
Anyone
smoking?
see the IPCC report the other day? I don't know about you, but that brought on a lot of really fun existential
Oh
dread.
dear. I've seen
been a
bits and
great summer.
pieces. Yeah.
I really think that actually is like a really salient point in terms of like, you know, whether or not you want to consider COVID like quote unquote over. Like I don't know, the kind of like broader climate problems we're having are like they're just starting, right? And like even before COVID started, like everybody was already like, or lots of people were already in very dire financial situations, right? So to me, like when I saw that like mentioned in your info booklet of like, yeah, it's built to tie into COVID, but it's like, even if this magically goes away, like the needs will still be there, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, especially in Alberta.
Yeah,
Yeah.
COVID's been a big spotlight on it for sure. It's been there and just really got shown to everybody, I feel like.
And this is just to show you how professional we are. Is I had a very important question for David I was going to ask all week, and I asked him like 2 hours ago. Like, can people just donate to Twitch streams, or do you have to have like a coffee thing set up or whatever?
Yeah, so we're actually going to be doing a charity stream for Crystal Kids here on Alberta Avenue. So there are a couple different resources that are available through Twitch where you can actually donate.
But if people are watching the Pe Metawe Twitch right now, can they donate?
We'd have to set it up ahead of time.
Okay, I was going to pledge that people donate right now, 100%.
But maybe our
That'd
guests
be awesome.
might have like a PayPal link or somewhere that people can send money if they do want to donate.
It's all e-transfer. So was our email cispteam@gmail.com? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we can put in the video too and stuff.
that would be really great.
Yeah. All of our funds, all of it goes to the people, and we just volunteer our time. And we also do as much as we can to provide other resources like mental health and other social services, because it's just something we're passionate about.
And some people don't even have some people don't have like an electronic way. Like I've driven to people's houses
Oh yeah.
to bring them
Cash in hand.
cash.
Yeah.
So that they can get it.
Yeah,
Right.
it's crazy how much. Sorry, Paige, go ahead.
Oh, I was agreeing. I do have a question, but if you want to talk more on this topic here before I ask my question, that would be a-okay.
And if
Well-
we're taking questions, I also have a question as well.
Is it a smart ass question?
This
or a
is
real
the
question?
interview
Bring it
part.
on.
Well, I just really wanted to mention the like what you were just saying, Brie, is like really relevant. Or sorry, Katie, I think you were saying it, is like how I think like digitization of stuff leaves people behind. Like when I was working at the Bizzle Center, you'd have homeless people come in and like they'd be like, hey, can you get me back into my Gmail account? And you're like, okay, I know tech stuff, let me help you. And then Gmail is like, yeah, what's your phone number? We'll send you a recovery text. And they're like, I don't have that number anymore because
Mhm.
like when you're on pay-as-you-go plans, your numbers are really transient.
Yeah.
And so they have to set up a whole new email address. And like for some people who like, yeah, the transient lifestyle is like, oh, that was the only, like, that was where I had my, like, you know, nephew's email address saved. Now I can't contact them. And like, this happened regularly.
Yeah. Oh, it's kind of something we take for granted. We don't really think about it, but definitely, like,
Yeah.
actually one of the main reasons that we often do cash is just because there's so many programs where if you have any kind of cash gifts, it can impact like what you'll receive. And, you know, we don't really want that to happen, and we're not an official charity. So, you know, cash in hand is the way to go for sure.
Yeah, and there was one more thing I did want to talk about, because I thought, like, to me, this is a selling point when I was asking about, like, how do you pitch it, is like you were saying, like, you guys don't take, like, there's no overhead other than the banking fee, right?
None. We just do it because we want to.
Yeah, and I like, to me, like, that is, I think, an amazing selling point for, I mean, like, I'll give an example of, like, my dad, who's like a very, like, classic, like, fiscal conservative type, and he does donate to charities, but he's constantly looking at, like, well, like, what percentage of their money is, like, seen as actually going towards the cause, right? Like, from that metric, you are, like, kicking everyone else's ass, because it's
Gold
like,
star.
yeah, absolutely. Which, yeah, I think is commendable, because I mean, it's I don't think it's unreasonable for a person to want to get paid for work, even if that work is charity, because, like, everyone has to pay rent. So I think it's, like, great that you're like, let's make this more efficient, and just, like, money from you to you. Like,
yeah. And just on a personal note, like, you know, during the thick of COVID times, like, the CISP team were people that I met with virtually, like, probably the most out of, you know, even friends that I hadn't seen in months. And it gave me a sense of purpose that felt real good, just to be able to know that I was contributing to something that would help others. And also, we've kind of set it up so that it doesn't end up being a lot of work for us. Like, you know, it's not huge. It's not a City of Edmonton program. We've talked about, like, what would happen if we did get that much interest, but for now, it's just kind of maintain this, like, nice level of, like, community vibes that's just been manageable.
Yeah,
that's really awesome. Katie, if you had more to say, please continue.
No, I think I was just kind of thinking about how, like, I feel like it's important. It's important to do work that doesn't. It's like a part of my personal process to, like, do work that doesn't benefit me. Do work that doesn't, like, it can passively benefit me, like, in the sense of, like, making me feel like I'm doing good, but, like, in any other way, because that's just default, that's just going to happen because that's, like, our nature, right? But it's to do things for a community that I have no intention of benefiting from, like, having any overhead. I think that's really important for me on, like, a spiritual level as well, is just to have a me personally, I have a sense of duty, and I just have a sense of duty to my fellow human. So, like, I just try to do what I can in a way that actually makes me uncomfortable sometimes, or pushes my boundaries. Like, I don't know, if I'm in a rush and I see somebody that seems to be struggling. I don't know, like, with I don't know, for example, like, one time I walked somebody across a really busy intersection because it was a struggle and they were scared. But, like, in those moments, I have a sense of, like, this is more imperative than anything that could ever need to be done in this moment for myself. So I have an existential duty to do it. And it's like, it's not an option to not do it. And so, like, I feel like CISP has been a part of, like, that journey, for that process for me, is like keeping a sense of duty, in that if it ever got to a place where I was making financial benefit from myself, I feel like I would have to grapple with that, and existentially. Not to get too serious.
That's a really good point, actually. I hadn't thought about that. Like, you know, when Moni first pitched this, she was actually calling people and trying to get feedback on, like, well, what's the best way to do this without it seeming, like, really sketchy? Like, you know, how are we going to build that trust with people? And just this idea of having like a few people part of the group who everyone knew, be a part of it came up. And I remember, feeling like, okay, well, I feel like I'm in a position where I can offer that and do that work and feel good about it. And like, it definitely brings up this like, idea of privilege that I think is really important. And just knowing when you're in a spot or a place where you can give in that way, it's good to do. It feels good.
Yeah, I think it's really beneficial. Again, I don't live in your community, but it really sounds like just so helpful, just extremely, extremely helpful in the best kind of way that you're doing these things.
I hope.
Yeah, it's
we've had a lot of good feedback from people who were like, oh my gosh, I could pay my bills, I could pay my rent, I feel like I can breathe again, I'm actually like getting by, things are on the up and up. It's been really nice to hear.
Yeah, you've really like pinpointed such a huge stressor for people in the community that people don't want to give away their money sometimes, and but like you're making it simple for people to see the change happen with their like what they give you and stuff like that, which I think is amazing. I'd like to ask if there was a big learning curve, because you said that you're about 8 or 9 months into this program that you're doing. Was there a big learning curve for all of you to?
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
there was just figuring out like how we wanted to assess people even. I know
That was hard.
Yeah, the first round we kind of made like this like scoring system, and then we assessed based on like urgency and like financial need and whether people had like children, medical issues, like all those kinds of things that we wanted to take into consideration, again without being like too invasive. Like we just wanted people to tell us what they thought was important. We didn't want to have like a full checklist of questions that they needed to answer. I think we had like 2 or 3 questions. And then also too, when we were first kind of pitching this to the community, we said, okay, like people who can apply have to know us. And that actually like got some really bad feedback, because I think some people didn't understand the nature of the group or how small it was. And they were like, oh my gosh, like that like just seems really weird and like a club almost. And because not everybody knows us. And we're like, okay, well, where do we draw the line of people who can apply? Like, if we don't know them, but say one of our friends does, like, is that okay? So it's been kind of a moving target. And we did end up changing our language to not include like, people who know us, because it did feel weird, and we figured that out. So now it's pretty open-ended, and we haven't seen any kind of negative repercussions from that yet. Whereas like wherein we'd have like, over 100 people apply or anything like that. So far it's been okay, but definitely been a process of figuring out like where to kind of define ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the process of like figuring out who like qualifies is it kind of felt like cringy. Like we were like, oh, this feels gross. Like just like going through people's stuff and being like, and like being the deciders of like whose situation is worse than somebody else's. It's like, how the hell could you ever make that decision? But like, nonetheless, we had to make these decisions. And so it's like this weird moral ground that's like ambiguous and stupid, but we like had to do it. But yeah, so we decided on certain things, like certain things that were like kind of like vague situations in the sense of like, if there's an immediate, need, like say there's children or so those kinds of situations might be prioritized, or if someone's in a really dangerous situation or something like that.
Right, environment or like
so
possible
like
injury.
there's some things that like went above other things, but that was a really hard, because a lot of situations were very different, but like you could say that they're equally difficult. So it's like, how do you
Exactly.
Kind of the philosophy that we've started to take is that like if people reach out to us, we're willing to consider their need, because first of all, it takes a lot of courage to reach out. And if someone is doing that, like, you know, they're obviously in need. So there have been times where we've had kind of like one-off situations where we just consider it in the moment, and figure it out as we go. It's been fluid in that sense, definitely.
And something about our program is that people who are applying, sometimes it's like the last option, or it's like
Because like they've
they've-
exhausted their other options.
yeah, like they've applied to everything they can think of. You know, they're denied by AISH, they're denied by Alberta Works, and so a lot of the times it's been the case that it's like you're approved, and and it's if somebody has been denied and denied and denied and denied, that level of like exhaustion is like, we have to really consider this person because they have tried everything, and like that's a certain kind of mental space to be in that needs immediate attention too.
And generally speaking, you know, like I mentioned, we try and help everyone if we can. And if we can't help them right away because there's other people who have like a higher urgency or priority that needs to be considered, we do our best to circle back and come back to those other people without making them reapply or anything like that. Like
Yeah.
we often just do like a really casual check-in with people. You know, at the first kind of end of the 6 months, that's what we did. It wasn't like a reapply. It wasn't like a go through this whole process again. It was just like, hey, how are you doing?
Right.
Like keep them on
Yeah.
Excel spreadsheet, you know, like you color code them red if they're doing real bad, and like, just like,
I mean,
mean,
we
it'd be
do love our
effective, wouldn't
spreadsheets, but no, it wasn't quite like that.
oh, okay. This is the way I would have done it, but that's because I'm a horrible person.
I
so.
mean, we do have like we know who they are.
Oh, and anonymity is like a really important part of the program too. Like even when we talk about some of the people who've applied, we always use like code names. We never really like, you know, say their name out loud unless we know we're in like a private space or it's like a secret space.
And even in our like exchanges via email or whatever, we use
Like pseudonyms, like
yeah, like abbreviations, or what do you call those? Initials.
yeah, there you go.
Right. Right. And the application process, like how you do the secondary check-in, the first primary application, where you don't or sorry, I don't know what you do or don't do exactly, I guess I'm asking, but it's not as invasive as all of these other programs, like these government programs. I mean, applying to anything government is a whole other, it's a rabbit hole. We all know some kind of government
Yeah.
application, like a passport, like whatever. Anyway, but these programs are just as bad, if not worse, I would assume.
I think it can be really demoralizing for people,
Yeah.
and just feel really like disempowering. And basically we just have a phone call. Like each of us took a number of the applicants and we just like call them up, or we just like email with them, whatever they preferred, whatever they felt comfortable with. And I found that it was very personable, you know, and I feel like they kind of were trusting us with their story.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
that's being also like having to repeat that story over and over can be like, well, there's just so many levels to it. It's refreshing to hear that, like it's a check-in later as well, because of that whole process starting over again can just exhaust
And
a
even
person.
for the people who aren't receiving any funds from us right now, like there's still an open door. They can always come back to us and let us know if their situation has gotten bad again. And we've often like reiterated, you know, if you need help with anything else, like I think even Moni was helping people with like Alberta Works applications, like just because she could and she
Yeah.
wanted to, you know.
Yeah, that's really awesome.
Yeah, it's really amazing how much someone like Moni can get done when she's procrastinating on her thesis. That was just for her. Everyone else can ignore that.
What did you? You said something?
No, it's fine. We'll move on. No, but I think that the like, I keep coming back to your point about like trying to start it up and being like, well, how do we make this look not sketchy? which is kind of funny when you think about it, because your way is like, it's more direct, it's more humanistic. It's like, it's kind of the way, I mean, a lot of people would argue that like helping people should be, because in like, yeah, like that idea of this is sketchy, kind of like it comes from our assumptions that like things need to be done through like semi-corporate entities or governments in order to be valid. But I mean, like I've worked in those, you know, nonprofit entities, and a lot of the time you're like, wow, we have money for this. Like, yeah. So I think it'll be interesting to see like if we can kind of like change our idea of what like, I don't know, like what I don't know what the opposite of sketchy is, but like a
Respectable.
yeah, like a respectable method of helping people is, because yeah, it would be nice to start doing away with those really like bloated structures, whether that's like a nonprofit or whether it's corporate philanthropy, or whether it's, you know, government intervention, because like I think all of those have their downsides, their inefficiencies. And
I honestly see it as a product of size. Like, you know, the bigger
Yeah,
an
honestly.
organization gets, the further away it gets from that level of like being a human being who's like interacting with other human beings. There's all this like fluff that comes up through the bureaucratic process, through the corporate structure, through the hierarchy. And to me, like, I feel like our program is really about decentralizing all of that, and just, you know, at what point, you know, if we were to keep growing, would it stop being that? I don't know.
Yeah,
It's hard
I've
to
run
say.
that through my head like
It's
a
hard
lot,
to
and I'm like,
say.
if we got bigger, like we might have to be like, sorry, we can no longer morally do this. But like it,
you have to turn it like a whisper network.
like it would have to be
Or maybe we could like spawn another one, you know, and we could be like
like
little
chapters.
Branch. Yeah.
or little, I don't know,
Branch off.
molecules, like
Molecules.
community driven, like blobs. I don't know.
That's a
No.
thing.
Now I have to interject because nobody but me can see this, but I think Dave is going to soil himself if he doesn't get his question in. So
Oh,
he's,
Oh my
he's like,
gosh,
he's doing the teacher thing. Like, yeah, what's up?
Amazing.
I apologize.
No, that's okay. I'm trying not to be disruptive to the show and let you to talk about your
Well, we
excellent
love
program.
disruptors.
So there's three things. One of our Twitch watchers just wanted to repeat the name of the organization or the
Oh, they're
initiative.
not going to find anything online, to be honest, but we're the Community Income Support Program.
Okay, Community Income Support Program, and you can't find them, so don't bother looking.
Yeah.
But,
But
no, but,
like,
no, but they
are they
can
wondering
email
about
them if they want
emailing?
to.
Like, are they
They
wondering?
can email
We have an
us.
email.
Yeah.
This particular Twitch watcher works in nonprofits and works in a lot of community organizations, so I think they just want to make sure they're sharing the initiative.
We're not a nonprofit.
No, I know, but they
Okay,
work
okay.
with nonprofits and work with community-focused organizations.
Oh, I see.
If-
Okay.
I would say, I mean, I don't want to speak for you, but I will. If you like, if they're interested, they can just email you, right? Like
Yeah,
if they
yeah,
have questions
please.
for you, if they want, like,
Yeah.
do you want us to repeat the email one more time?
CISP team at gmail.com.
Yes, you looked at me like you want me to confirm. That isn't a, that is.
No, you said you had two more
confirm
questions.
my-
I do, but she said cispteam@gmail.com, then looked over at me as if confirming.
Yeah, well, it's a test. Were you paying attention the first time?
I honestly wasn't. I'm trying to run the show. The other thing I had was there are I listen to a fair amount of podcasts, and I have listened to a lot of podcasts where they do have community focused initiatives, and what you're talking about with like the little not branches, but you had the word for it, chapters in different cities and communities. There's a lot of like community like grassroots organizations that do have chapters. One of the things you'll need to do if you want to be able to set up chapters elsewhere is you may want to try to develop some sort of online presence.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely,
Definitely.
something to consider.
There's a lot of decentralized platforms, right? Like you don't have to go on Facebook. You can use Discord. You can use like other platforms that are decentralized for communication.
Okay.
And then my third thing was just, this is more on the personal side of things, but like as somebody who runs a business, and when we started this business, we wanted to be doing not quite as like charitable work as you're doing, but very community focused work. So what you're talking about with the nonprofit route, like it definitely speaks to me, because I know that was a big decision for us, was we could either incorporate as a corporate entity where we'd have a lot more control over it, but then there's the connotation of like, well, we're a corporate entity. And we actually had one school that we reached out to, and they're like, well, are you a nonprofit? And we said no, and they said, okay, thanks, and they hung up on us. And I think a lot of people fail to recognize that there's a lot of gray areas in a corporation as opposed to a nonprofit, where a nonprofit, you have to have a board of directors and you have to be governed by the Nonprofit Societies Act or
that's
all
right,
of those
yeah.
different things. And so there's a lot that goes into it. So I can definitely understand the desire to not have to go through any of those hoops, whether it's a corporation or a nonprofit, because there's definitely some issues there. And PJ, I don't know what your background is, but I know in BC, they actually have a third type of incorporated entity that's more of a social enterprise. So it doesn't have to exist as a nonprofit, but it can exist as a incorporated entity that actually does work with the community and doesn't have to be strictly motivated by profits as a traditional corporation would be.
Neat.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Wow, thank
we
you.
had that in Alberta. I was actually like, as you were talking, thinking, well, what about social enterprise? I don't know, but that's interesting to know. BC has that. Come on, Alberta.
Come on over.
Yeah, I'm sure
We'll bring
our provincial
BC
government.
over.
Yeah, I'm sure our provincial government's going to really prioritize that. And then just putting this meaningful discussion aside, I just want to let you know, Mr. Gamont, we have our GM joining us now.
Yeah, I was messaging. We're good.
All right.
No, but I do want to fill you,
Kelly. I'm producing the show.
Yeah, I know. And you've been very busy with it, which is why you didn't notice Paige's background. So I'll fill you in. It's kind of like a bluish mandala thing behind her.
It's
like a
definitely red.
tapestry. Oh, well, like red is a bluish color. It's primary and it's
Red is the bluest color, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
You want to jot that down as a potential show name? Red is the bluest color.
Mark down the time.
Yeah, we'll put it on the agenda items. Yeah, I don't know. I guess, but my lingering burning question has been was there a hot internal debate over whether it should be pronounced CISP or KISP?
Yes.
Oh,
You wish, Kelly.
what side were you on? Community, right?
I don't even know if this may have just been a conversation that I've had with myself.
I feel like the option of CISP should be considered.
CISP?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some languages have a CH sound for them.
I think it's pretty clear. People aren't cisgendered.
I'm cisgendered.
I think I was like, okay, technically it's KISP, but that just sounds stupid and doesn't roll off the tongue. So it's CISP.
I was gonna say, where was I for this conversation?
I think it was private. I think it was internal.
It's happened over and over again.
I just think KISP should be on the table. That's all I want to say, but I'll let it go.
I vote CISP.
Okay.
All right, we'll put it on the agenda.
How about CISP? I don't know. I'm just throwing in sounds now.
That was it's the same as what it is. But
it's like how people say Serb.
Right? Oh,
yeah. Is it Serb or Curb?
Exactly. It is technically Curb because it stands for Canada or whatever.
Yeah, but that's not how acronyms necessarily work.
I see.
But I thought a C followed by a vowel automatically sounded like a S. Or am I totally? Does it have to be IE?
The first word in your acronym is
Community.
Which is a C followed by a verb, by a noun, by a what's the
income?
Vowel.
Vowel. Thank you. Oh, is a vowel.
That's not a rule.
By
of
an owl.
You're right.
I know, but you just disproved your own rule.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She said a C followed by a vowel.
CIE.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Was that I after E except after C?
I'm an EA, and the amount of times that a kid has been like, wait, it's I before E except after C. Yeah. And they're like, what about this word? I'm like, okay, so that's the rule, except a lot of the times it's not the rule. Okay. I don't know why that. I don't know. Understand this language.
All right. I was so busy thinking of how I was going to segue that I did not listen to the last thing you said, but I'm sure it was fantastic.
Yeah. I was going to say you look really dumbfounded there for a second.
Yeah, well, it's my energy. Do you want to, David? Do you want to just pop our GM onto the stream? Oh, sorry.
I mean, I'm a fan of just hard segues, just turning straight to the left, turning.
All right. Well, Paige, as the host, it is your job to
my job.
The GM onto stage.
I was told it was my job before this even started that I was supposed to introduce. Yes.
Sorry, Kelly. Before we do that, can I just get our guests' names there because I didn't change their name in Zoom at all?
You can, but are we gonna change it to their role-playing games right away?
Yeah, I figured, but we'd have 8 solid minutes where
Okay.
people could see who they are.
Well, this is Bree on my left and Katie on my right.
BRY.
Katy.
It's weird.
Yeah,
I
we're gonna spell
know.
both those names.
Katie is the red shirt.
Yeah.
Katie.
Oh, she's gonna die first.
I think my character name should just be Grape.
It's a blue shirt.
I definitely spelled your names right, so don't bother telling me how to do it.
Okay.
Jeff, welcome to the show.
Hello, Jeff.
Oh, wait, Jeff, you're on mute.
That's strike one,
Well,
Jeff.
he's gonna be miming the role-playing, which is
Strike
great
one.
for
No.
for at least one first-time player.
Yeah, the audio version of this will be great when I just pantomime things that people can't see, and then you guys make sense of it.
Honestly, that's good because I think people who would listen to the audio version of this instead of watching it, like they deserve it, right? Like I want them to be punished.
Is it a punishment or is it just confusing?
We'll find ways to punish them. We'll add in a bunch of like feedback noise and stuff.
I
As
don't know
somebody
if I'm
who's
attached to
watched,
that.
as somebody who's watched every episode of Kelly Quest, I say that's definitely a punishment, just being part of it.
Oh, we make them.
I don't know what you're talking about. I've never heard of this show. Okay, so yeah, Jeff, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm ready for you guys to be, dime store Ghostbusters.
Ooh.
Hell yeah. So Jeff, you'll be very excited to find out that Bree has played. Do you want to talk about your role-playing experience, Bree, instead of me talking about it? Tell me what you've done before.
I've played, maybe like 3 or 4 times of D&D. I've had a hard time committing though. So I gotta say that these like short version games are a lot more appealing to me. But I do have a lot of fun. And the last 2 games I played happened to be with Kelly.
Yeah. So Bree is familiar with our pizza parlor setting, but the audience is not, because those were secret smoke-filled backroom sessions. So sorry, Katie, do you want to talk about your experience, and then Jeff, you can introduce what the world is?
Nothing.
There you go. That was fast.
Great.
Yeah. I think this is going to be a great entrance point for any of our audience members who have never done any tabletop role playing. So,
Yeah, I'm carrying the torch for them.
Yeah.
It's gonna be embarrassing and horrible.
Yeah.
Living vicariously through Katie.
So to give you I guess a bit of a rundown is, so you two and me and Paige, all of us are going to be some adventurers going on a sort of adventure. Largely what your face is just absolutely, you're losing it. So yeah, we're gonna basically act out a story. We'll put together some characters here now live on the spot. I have one done. Paige, do you have your character? Is it already done?
It kind of is. I did it while sitting in the waiting room of the Zoom call.
Oh, cool. And yeah, so there are some dice in front of you. It won't be complicated. Basically, you're gonna just act as your character, and in this story, you're gonna tell Jeff what you want to do, and he's basically gonna tell you what happens or not. And once in a while, he may ask you to roll those dice. Does that make sense?
Roll them bombs.
Whatever.
All right, that's the vote of confidence we'd love to hear. So Jeff, do you want to explain what the world is, what the setting is, the backstory?
So the setting that we're going to be playing in is a world where ghosts and the supernatural are real, and people need to take care of those problems. But that extends all the way down to like even small towns need Ghostbusters. So you are an off-brand Ghostbusters knockoff franchise, and you are operating out of an abandoned pizza restaurant in Vermilion, Alberta.
Yeah, and if I recall
One in
correctly,
Vermilion.
we are laid off. The pizza company shut down, and so we have decided to squat in the abandoned pizza parlor and start a ghost hunting company called Raytheon, spelled WRAITHEON.
Oh no.
I forgot that was the name for your ghost busting company. Yes.
I didn't
know that was the name, and I'm
What is
pleasantly
a wraith
surprised.
again, Ethan? It's like a monster, like a
Yeah, a wraith is a type of ghost.
Okay. But
So-
like, what kind of ghost?
I feel like
Ah,
it looks like a
I'm
wrung
not a
out
ghost
rag
person.
for some reason.
You want me to answer that, Kelly, or you want to just?
You want to answer
I
what a
really
wraith
want
is?
to
Hold
know.
it.
I do.
I mean, go for it. I don't know shit. I just know what a
I like
good company name
imagination
is.
too, though.
I like wrung out rag. That's like spooky.
Yeah, like made out of a ripped T-shirt, maybe. I don't know.
So, I mean, if you want the Webster's dictionary, it's a ghost
yeah.
or ghost-like image of someone, especially one seen shortly before or after their death.
Rag.
If you want the actual description from Dungeons and Dragons, which is the only real description that matters, wraiths are incorporeal creatures born of evil and darkness. In some cases, the grim silhouette of a wraith might appear armored or outfitted with weapons, but it does not affect the creature's armor class or combat abilities, but only reflects the shape it had in life.
What?
I don't
So
know, man.
it's
It
like
sounds like
armor
nerd
for
shit.
looks. It's not.
You don't need to know like
Cool.
70% of the words he just said. It's fine.
None of it affects how it is.
So
Yeah,
they're
what
just
I
like
just said matters.
ghosts that want to be like fashionable, but it doesn't actually do anything.
Fashion ghost.
Sure.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
I
Fashion
feel like
ghost.
so
So
far in
that's
this
what we're
world,
hunting?
the existence of ghosts and what they do has not been super well defined. I wasn't actually certain that they were real, but our GM has just stated that they are in fact real. So
They
I mean,
are.
they're real enough that you have started a ghost busting business that has had more than one client.
we've had clients, but I don't know if we've actually. No, we did catch one ghost. That's
Is
true.
there a better ghost hunting business that we just like do things for cheaper than they do?
No. Not established.
Okay, cool.
We're as cheap as it gets.
Yeah,
Whereas
we
cheap
firebombed the other
as it
ghost hunting
gets.
business.
Whereas
I mean, I'm pretty sure the
cheap
first time they agreed to do it for pizza.
Hell yeah.
But wait, we used to make pizza, so like we can make pizza. Anyway, I won't argue with it. It sounds great. I love pizza.
Okay, so why don't Paige and I introduce our characters, and then we'll kind of come up with some for you too.
Oh, thank God.
So using our simplified character sheets, my name is Longfellow Sandwich. I'm known as Dagwood to my friends. For my, what do I look like? I just put wayfish and pale. And my background, I have it written out here. Stall for me, Paige.
Stall,
Stall.
like bathroom stall.
Yep. Thank you.
Like-
Perfect.
I think what Kelly was looking for was you to just fill some dead air for him.
Yeah.
Oh,
Stall,
that what I
warm
was
up
doing?
the crowd, vamp a
You
little
did it
bit.
successfully. I already have my my background pulled up.
is that what I was doing?
So this is Longfellow's background. A direct descendant of the famed Earl of Sandwich, he is of aristocratic blood. He came with his parents as an infant to Alberta. His family was quietly ushered out of the UK in 1997 for their own protection, as his father was part of the clandestine hit squad that executed Princess Diana. For this, they were rewarded handsomely, but young Longfellow grew estranged from his relatives after learning literally anything about British history. Locked out of his vast family fortune, he turned to his friends to help him find honest work. And as with everyone, I have a special talent. So my special talent is that I have a supernatural schmoozing capacity. In effect, basically, if I'm trying to like convince or charm anyone, I'm more effective if I can kind of play to their sense of like grandioseness.
I know that they're swearing on this show because I saw the last show. So you're essentially a ghost fucker? Question
what?
mark?
Can you back up on this? What?
Ghost fucker.
The question in front of you, Kelly, is does Longfellow fuck ghosts?
I don't think Longfellow is certain that ghosts are real. Like I am now, according to the lore here, but Longfellow is pretty sure he's just scamming people.
Yikes. But that's kind of schmoozing. Okay, I listened. Anyway, I'm going to introduce my
Are you saying
character.
schmoozing? Wait, are you saying schmoozing implies fucking?
It could.
No. I mean,
It
like
could,
schmoozing,
though.
like charming the ghosts
Oh no!
is what I
just-
meant. I
just-
thought you meant
I
because you
just
said
schmooze rich
supernatural
people and-
schmoozer,
which
is schmoozing the supernatural. Anyway,
no,
He tries to get people to like him.
Oh, I understand. No, it's just the capacity.
Your words got misunderstood.
The
by
capacity
my
is
ears.
supernatural. Okay, because I actually thought the same thing. I was like, oh,
Oh,
this guy
fuck.
could charm the ghosts. No problem.
Yeah.
Well, I fucked up. I'll just throw my character sheet, start a new one.
No,
Sorry.
no. You didn't fuck up. You fucked ghosts.
Kelly's trying to turn this into an erotic RPG.
I
Jeff,
tell
can
you
we-
what,
Kelly,
I
stop.
will
This
fuck
is
a
not
ghost
that
by the
kind
end
of
of this
show.
session.
Jeff, can we get a ruling from the game master? Does Longfellow fuck ghosts? Yes or no?
You know what? It hasn't happened in the game, so doesn't need a ruling on it.
Ooh,
We
that's a
can
real
learn
pro.
in the future if he fucks ghosts.
Cool.
We'll all
sure
learn
will.
together organically
Yeah.
and maybe orgasmically.
Yeah.
Fantastically.
Fantastically. Cool. I'm gonna go ahead and introduce my character. Junkie Trevor is the name. They look like they're small build, freckles, and wears visors with a purpose. Multiple visors, 2 visors at once. Usually one is upside down. Let's see. Super keen while still working at the pizza place. Junkie Trevor loved delivery the best out of them all, and cut table was pretty cool. Cutting the pizzas was lots of fun. So loved that job. Sad it's over. Really kind of just tagging along with the pizza crew because he misses it. Is kind of
Just a point of clarity: is Junkie his first name or a title, or like is he a junkie named Trevor?
Yeah,
it's
junkie is a title you earn.
yeah, it is a title. But like junkie Trevor likes to fix things that he picks up at the dump. So this is where he got
Like, does it say
that
junkie on his
title.
birth certificate?
no.
Okay.
No.
Okay, so his name is Trevor,
Name's
and
Trevor.
he fixes
Oh,
garbage. Got it.
not a he. They them pronouns. If it's
Okay.
not too difficult. Actually, just do it.
Actually, just do it.
I had to think twice about that. Okay. Junkie Trevor, yeah, fixes things. So I guess special talent is like pretty like fix it inclined, like kind of handy. Also very flexible from when they used to do gymnastics, and is bounces. I just wrote bounces, so they bounce. And I believe that's Junkie.
Does Junkie Trevor have like a Mad Max kind of vibe?
No, kind of like looks more like a 14-year-old schoolboy.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
See, you get it.
Uh-huh.
What's
I
their
believe
actual age?
I don't know, like late 20s,
70s.
late 70s. How old? Late 20s.
All right, so you guys have your characters ready?
No, what?
No, we're building them together, I
I
thought.
know, I know.
Yeah,
I mean-
you have to help me build mine.
We don't have to write a novel for each of their backstories, like somebody over here, but
So let's kind of go in order around the room here. So Bree, do you have an idea what your name is going to be?
You know what? I wonder if I should bring back my old character.
It's up to you. I have some
Oh.
suggestions written down here if you guys want them.
You know what? I think I'm gonna bring back Peter.
Hmm.
Yeah. Was it Peter?
That sounds right. I think I have it written on a
it
page. here.
can be Peter.
Yeah, it says Peter.
All right. Yeah, let's bring back Peter. I'm
Do you
down.
remember
To
anything
an
else
empty
about-
page. Yeah, it says Peter.
So Peter is like a very aloof, kind of like slender bodied person. And their special talent is that they can commune with nature. And that's pretty much it. They're very simple. Very simple.
Nice.
All right. So Bree, your character needs stats. So I don't suppose you remember what your character was good at.
Communing with nature.
What were the stats again?
So we have 3 stats. They're called body, understanding, and psyche. They
Kelly
basically
doesn't
mean
listen.
they basically mean what? They basically mean like body, mind, and spirit. So
Oh yeah, I had really high spirit stats,
okay.
and the
Oh,
rest
but-
were
yeah.
low.
So
Just all
let's
4 points into spirit.
Yeah, pretty much.
okay, because you start at -1 for all of them, so you can distribute 4 to those
Oh,
like
that's how
columns.
it
So
goes.
Okay, let's just do 1 for body, 1 for mind, and 2 for spirit. Yeah, I'm pretty
Okay,
sure.
So
that's
your
what it was.
spirit will be +1, and the other ones will just be straight dice rolls.
Awesome.
all right, yeah, you've got that covered, Jeff.
Okay, wait.
Oh, I'm
so
not
when you
writing their
say-
stats down because that's your guys' problem.
When you say psyche, you mean mind, right?
No, psyche is like spirit.
Okay.
Understand
Psyche-
is mind.
A way that one of the other DMs or GMs explained it to me is that it's feeling, which really makes sense to me. So like understanding mind, brain, thoughts and stuff, and then psyche is more feeling.
Could be a lot of things. It could be like everything doesn't fit, but it could be like
No.
it could be like charm, it could be gumption, it could be luck, could be just like intuition.
So psyche doesn't mean anything.
Sure.
Feeling.
Wait, what did you put your extra point into?
I thought we only had 4 points.
Yeah, so you put 1 into each and then 1 more into which one?
Psyche.
Okay. And do you what's your special talent is commune with nature?
Mhm.
Okay. All right, Katie, you're up. Do you want a name suggestion?
Yes.
Bjork
Ooh.
Johnson.
What?
I got Bjork Johnson.
Bjork Johnson.
What about
Okay.
I mean, we don't have to go with it. We can come up with more
Are there other
suggestions.
names? I don't know.
Well, I got another character named Demi. Demi
Pepper
Wife.
Elmond?
Demi wife.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
What about 5/16 wife?
No, Demi Wife.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
That's it. I came up with 2 names while we were.
Okay. I'll be Demi wife.
All right.
Do you
How
have
is
all the
wife
specs
spelled?
there? Because I don't know.
What does Demi look like?
This is.
It could be you exactly.
Oh
if you
my
want.
god, this is so weird.
Welcome
What
to
a-
role play.
I don't. Okay.
could be anything.
What?
Demi has 1 arm. And but like the other arm is like really jacked.
And a mullet. And a mullet.
Like has like a unibrow, but is like very aware of it and is like, no, I'm gonna wear this proudly. Like
I like it. I
Yeah,
like that.
and what's another good physical feature? Just like extravagantly tall. Like 6
Extravagantly
foot
tall.
7.
Okay.
How does that sound? You could veto all these things. This is your character.
Oh my god. God, this is so awkward. I
think-
don't like okay. I'm just like trying to think of like movies and like what would be
Oh,
the coolest
Family members
character?
would be funny.
What?
Family members might be funny.
Oh good lord.
I modeled
like
mine
that.
after my dad.
Just imagine for like you don't have to do anything complicated. Just imagine what you would do if you were an extremely tall one-armed woman with a really jacked arm. That's all you have to do. Just put yourself into the situation. It'll come naturally. Don't worry.
All right.
And yeah, do you know where you came from? What's your background? What's your like motivation?
All right. Let me think here. My motivation. I saw my whole family ripped away by ghosts
Oh hell yeah.
There it is. There's the
when I was 12. And now I'm like Kill Bill kind of situation.
I love it.
With one arm.
And
But
do you-
the other arm's there, but you can't see it.
Oh, it's like a ghost arm?
Yeah.
Like, it
Oh,
attaches
no
to you.
way.
Yeah,
Like,
Oh my
something,
gosh.
some bullshit happened with the parents at the time that made my arm like not there, but there. It's like Finn with the grass arm.
Ooh,
know?
Adventure time?
Sure.
I like it.
Some shit like that.
Does that mean you can touch ghosts? This means that you can touch ghosts.
Yep. Thanks for
Amazing.
that.
So
I don't
yeah,
know,
no,
just
I feel like the ghost arm would tie naturally into a special talent. So your special talent is like, I don't know, Jeff, you got to.
I just wrote her special talent down as has a ghost arm.
That's pretty
Right. So
talented.
only my ghost arm can actually feel the ghosts.
Yeah, like if you reach out with your ghost arm, you'd feel in a way the rest of us wouldn't.
Right.
All right, that works for me. All right, and then so for your well, for simplicity, we'll call it your body, mind, and spirit. All of these start at like slightly below average at like -1, and you get 4 points to slot into those. What do you want to boost up? If you want to play it safe, you can put 1 into each one and then just put the extra 1 into.
Sure, I'll do that.
All right, into what? What's your
The extra one will be in
what do you want your strength to be?
mind, I guess. I don't know what that is.
Thinking smarts.
Mind is understanding.
Thinking stuff.
Thinking smarts.
Thinking smarts.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. We'll go with that.
Okay, thinking smarts. That sounds good. Okay, yeah. So then, are we all set to start, Jeff?
Yeah, we have characters now. So it is kind of a day just like any other. You're squatting in the pizzeria, possibly attempting to make it look like a real ghost hunting business, and not just an abandoned building that no one has bothered to really maintain or clean since that happened. But the good news is that you don't actually have to try that hard to attract people to your business, because you're the only operation in town. And so around lunchtime, a man bangs on the door. Who is anyone sort of like actually gonna be there waiting for clients to come in?
I would say Junkie is in the place cutting up like the promotional posters that used to promote the pizza deals and cutting out the letters like a serial killer letter to make like a sign for the door. So that's what Junkie's doing in the building.
And Peter, I think much to the dismay of everyone else, is happily collecting random animal bones and just like creating a little shrine near the front door.
All chicken
while
bones.
humming, just like super happy. La la la.
So just all of you have rooms full of bodies, huh?
Have what?
Rooms full of bodies. We've got animal bone shrine and a serial killer letter.
No, I'm making a sign for the front window or the door. Maybe I'm just like gluing stuff on the door and someone knocks at the door. And so I'm like, oh, hello. So I'm there and I see them.
All right. So who you see, you recognize him because it's a small town. Everyone knows everybody.
Here in Vermilion.
And so you recognize Dale Flurpum, and he owns the local truck stop.
Oh, hello, Dale.
Hello. I hear instead of serving food, you do ghost things now.
Yeah, I mean, I still make a mean pizza. I'd love to make you a pizza sometime, Dale.
No, there's a restaurant in the truck stop. I'm fine.
Okay.
No, the ghosts is really the problem that I need to hire some people for.
I mean, we take money and do stuff with ghosts.
Okay. That phrasing was making me a little alarmed about what you're gonna do with the ghost.
What? I didn't say anything bad. Come on in. We'll talk to the crew. What do you got?
Well, he waits until you kind of all gather up around him. So this is gonna sound crazy, but one of the toilets in the men's room, I'm pretty sure it's haunted.
The men's room or what?
The truck stop that I own. What other men's room would I care about enough to hire ghost hunters for?
Oh, you mean the one where that like baby blue jay is in the nest?
What? Is there a blue jay in one of our toilets and ain't no one told me?
No.
Do you ever go
in
in
the
there?
rafters? He's like one of my best friends.
Dale does not know how to respond to you having some sort of best friend bird. And it's just kind of going to be like, well, listen, so people go in the bathroom and they hear like weird noises, but not the normal kinds of weird noises from a bathroom. Like,
That was going to be my
ghosty.
first question. No, please
like
continue.
ghostly weird noises, like wailing, and well, that's kind of it.
So definitely
Are
not.
those
bird
not normal
noises.
bathroom noises?
What?
Longfellow looks like really embarrassed.
Ugh. Are you in there often? There, Dag Bottom. What's it?
Longfellow. My character's name is Longfellow.
Yeah, but Dagwood.
Oh yeah, you can call him Dagwood.
Dag Bottom.
Yeah, that's me. What's up?
Is this you making the noises in there then, or do you go there?
Oh, I haven't been around there lately.
Oh, it's not Dag Bottom.
What do you say?
Oh,
you
that's a
go check
shame
it
because
out.
that would have solved this really quickly without me having to pay anybody. That would have been nice.
Oh no,
What can
don't
I
worry.
say? I'm
You'll
good
have
at
a
my
chance to
job.
pay someone.
Yeah.
Well,
So, I am like excited because it feels like it's been a couple months since we actually had a customer come into this pizza shop, and I'm just like out the door, be like, oh, I got the keys.
We didn't talk money at all, but we'll charge you later. We'll
As
take
I'm
care of
walking
it.
out the door, I just call behind myself to the guy. Hey, you got money, right?
yeah. Well, oh, he's gone. Yep. Okay. I guess I'm walking back over. He's gone now.
Okay, well,
So, if you go over to the truck stop, it is kind of the I don't know if you guys have ever seen like the kind of really big like hub truck stops where they have, there's like a big convenience store and a diner, but then like a lot of bathrooms and some sleeping areas and showers and stuff, like for long distance truckers to stop and be less disgusting in the middle of like a 30-hour drive.
have a little rinsey
Okay.
poo.
Do they sell souvenirs?
Yes, they do.
What kind of special like Vermilion souvenirs do they have?
Everything is colored vermilion, which makes it a little on the nose.
So it's blue. Everything's blue.
Are there any?
I actually don't know what color vermilion is. I think it's a kind of red.
Yeah, so blue.
Red
We've
blue
been over
again?
this.
Are there any trees around this building?
Not really. It's sort of a large concrete parking lot surrounding it. There's like a couple of big rig trucks parked outside, and then some smaller vehicles from people who are just eating at the truck stop diner for lunch.
So like tumbleweeds and dust.
Kinda, yeah. You get like, once you get outside of the parking lot, you have, there's a street going in front of it, and then around it there's kind of some green space, but a lot of the grass is kind of dead from just being close to big rig fumes and gas pumps all the time. So
Right.
if you go inside, you walk in, and you can either go right to go into the diner or go left to go into the convenience store. Dale points towards the convenience store side as how you get to the bathroom. And so he points out the men's room and then just sort of backs off. Like, all right, you're going to do ghost busting things, right? Cool. I'll
Are
be
there
over
any-
here.
Any other people like in the convenience store?
There's a trucker who's on his way out who's paying for gas and an amount of beef jerky that you feel like slightly compelled to comment on. Like, are you okay? But yeah, he's
How much
the
beef
only.
jerky is that?
What?
How much is that?
I mean, probably like several pounds worth of beef jerky.
Beef jerky.
Beast jerky.
So
I'm gonna just ask the guy with the beef jerky, like, have you ever made jerky pizza?
And he's like, well, no, pizza I can't eat out of a package on the road.
Wow.
Well, I
That's highly
could,
debatable.
but I spilled it on my crotch that one time, and I was like, however long I was in the hospital late to make that delivery, my boss was real mad.
I kind of just like furrow my brow and look at his pounds of beef jerky and stare at him disapprovingly. And I want to like stomp on his foot, like really hard.
I mean, yeah, if you want,
you're gonna do that?
I'm gonna,
Yeah. He's eating so much cow. It's like not okay.
I mean,
Okay,
it's mostly
but like
salt
he's
with some
probably
cow
stretching
underneath
it out over like his trip.
Yeah, but like still it's an animal.
It sounds like
you
she
know?
committed to it. She wants to.
Can I roll?
Yeah, roll and add whatever you made your body score.
Okay, but like, why are we rolling?
To see how
Successful or
much of a
not.
problem this will become.
Oh, because you're doing an action. Okay.
yeah, interaction. Yeah.
So both dice?
Yeah, and you,
Yeah.
you use the exact roll because your body score is 0.
Oh,
So you
I got
roll
a
them and
2.
add it together.
I got a 2.
Oh no.
Hey guys.
So the good news is that this trucker is not going to be made very upset by you, because in your attempt to stamp on his foot, as far as he can tell, you just looked at him very disapprovingly and tried to stamp your foot on the floor like a child having a tantrum, and just kind of rolled your own ankle and tripped into a display of chip bags. So
I yelled to the proprietor, "Oh, we'll clean that up," and then I kind of like I grabbed the trucker, who like I'm terrified of this trucker because like my milieu is kind of like with upper crust people, and I don't know how to interact with like what my parents would have called, you know, common people. And I kind of pull him aside and I'm like, hey sir, listen, we don't want to trouble you. Just have you been in the bathroom here?
well, yeah, it's a truck stop. That's kind of one of the reasons why you stop here.
And did I get bring my voice down real low and I kind of like get close. I'm like, did anything weird happen in there?
What are you talking about?
You can. Oh, no, I don't mean any offense, sir. We're on a fact finding mission. Did anything weird happen in the bathroom?
He just like looks at the rest of you like, why does he keep saying weird but real weird?
That's his
I'm
voice,
so
man.
embarrassed. I immediately just like look away and just walk off stage like Napoleon Dynamite, just completely like noping out of there. And I hit straight to the bathroom, not to investigate ghosts, but just so I can go there and like have a panic attack.
It's just
I
the most
waved
convenient place to
goodbye.
hide.
I wave goodbye to the trucker with the beef, and I just say that, oh, that's his voice. That's just what he sounds like. And I follow Dagbottom.
I slam the door behind me before Trevor can catch up, and I just like sit down against like my butt on the floor, my back against the bathroom wall, and I just start like wailing and moaning.
Oh no, this is really, really harshing on our data collection right now.
I turn to Demi and I say, hey Demi, you want to help me beat up that trucker guy for eating all that beef jerky?
What has happened?
And I say, I don't understand what's happening. Are we here to try and bust ghosts?
Yeah, but think about the ghosts of the cow.
And I say, I'm suspicious of this character that came and tried to like get our services. Like, how do we know there's actually a ghost here? They never gave us any information. They never gave us any anecdotes. We don't even have any kind of proof.
Yeah, as
He's
far
like
as
still
we
in the
know.
room, so he's just like, that's what I brought you here for. I ain't a ghost knower. You don't need to ghost know to run a truck stop.
Right.
And
True.
I'm just gonna say that I could just didn't you say that the ghost was in the toilet?
Well, it's in
Isn't
the
that-
stall. I don't know if it's in the
It's-
toilet.
I mean, I could take my ghost arm and feel around in there.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
I'm not going to ask any questions about what ghost arm means. I'm just going to.
Have you not done your research on our ghost crew?
No, you're like a block over. I just figured, like, what more do I need to know? There are people who bust ghosts and they
I
live
yelled
by
in the
my
bathroom,
house.
I'm sorry, we don't have a website. We just have a brochure that
Yeah.
kind of just gets passed from person to person. It's not a great model, but we're working on it.
Anyway, the wailing from the toilet sounds different than the wailing that just came out of the toilet. That was a person. That was definitely a person.
This is a good data collection. Thank you for this information. This is going to work for us. And I write down some stuff in a notebook that I magically have now.
So my
I,
embarrassment over like having like had that interaction with the trucker is replaced by the embarrassment of people being confused about the nature of our ghost hunting business. And I kind of like they cancel each other out, and I kind of snap back to reality, and I realize like in the bathroom, like, okay, I'm gonna hunt some ghosts. I'm gonna bust. I yell at that. I'm gonna bust. And yeah. Can I like look around the bathroom? Does anything look weird about it?
I mean, it's like a normal truck stop bathroom. It is not as clean as you would like it to be, but is not as gross as it could be.
Of course.
Like what's some of the dirtiest parts of the bathroom?
So you can see, I'm assuming you just kind of like start opening stall doors and stuff.
Oh, it's not like a
Flinging them
single person
open.
bathroom. Like it's one of those.
No, it's like there's probably like 6 urinals and then like 4 or 5 stalls on the opposite wall.
I'm just gonna go like flush every urinal and see if it like I don't know causes any kind of spookiness. Wait, no, what I want to do is I want to like take a mental map of the room and then shut the lights off and then run around flushing out the toilets to see. I figure ghosts would be more visible in the dark.
Okay.
Oh man.
Where do you want to start? So when you walk in, like in front of you, to your left is like the sink and the mirror and the like towel dispensers and all that kind of stuff. And then the urinals are on that wall. And then facing
Past
the urinals,
sinks?
past the sinks, yeah. The sinks are the closest to the door. And then on the opposite wall, which is to your right, there are sort of 5 toilet stalls.
Okay. I feel like what I want to do is I'm gonna go like just normally clockwise, like easiest to hardest. And so I'm just gonna like kill the lights, speed past the sinks, flick all of their taps on, and then flush all the urinals, and then go across the room and start going down the stalls, flushing them one by one. And I don't know if something happens in the meantime, maybe I'll react to it.
All right.
Can I do something?
Yeah, sure.
I would like to whip out some of the words that I had pasted together on a sheet of paper.
Okay.
I made a sign earlier before I made the sign for the door. Says ghost busting in process or whatever. And I stick it to the door of the bathroom. And then I'm gonna enter after that.
All right.
I wanna run in after Junkie Trevor, and I want to look earnestly around the ceiling of the bathroom.
All right. Well, Longfellow has turned the lights off, so you're kind of just
Yeah.
like
We're in the dark.
looking at like a dark patch,
Okay.
and it's a little
But if
lighter.
there's
Where you
nature
can
up
see-
there, she can commune with it.
If there's what?
If there's
Okay.
nature up there, she can commune with it.
Okay, instead with the lights off, I whistle. I can't actually whistle right now, but
Also, I could lift you up because I am 6'7".
Demi, help me up, help me up. I want to look for Bluey.
She's looking for. It's the bird.
All right.
Right.
So I will get Demi to make a body roll to see if
Body roll.
What the fuck is that?
That means you have to get out of your chair, go on the ground, and just like roll like you're on fire.
Yeah, you
I
gotta
feel
do
like
log
that's not
rolls
true.
until
That
do
is
log
like
rolls until you get tired, and how long
a
it takes
vertical
determines
worm.
if
Okay,
your
is it
action
actually like I
succeeds.
roll the dice? Is that what I'm actually doing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Listen, Jeff, it doesn't matter whether a body has rolls. It's beautiful no matter what.
So you roll the 2 dice and tell me what the total is.
9.
All right. So a 9 is a success. So you are able to lift up Peter, and Peter will actually be able to like do stuff without you dropping them.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna whistle.
Okay, ready?
An attempt to call to my friend Bluey.
All right, I'm gonna say that will be a psyche
Nice.
roll to see if you are able to communicate with this bird.
I feel like
Man,
Bluey is
double ones.
intrinsically involved in this ghost experience.
I don't know yet. I guess
Add
we'll
one
find
breed.
out.
There's just
Add
things we
one.
don't know yet.
So I
Is
had
it blue
double.
or
I had
blue
snake
or
eyes
red?
last time. This time I have 2 2s. I don't know what's with that. But...
+1.
So
What's
5.
with that?
All right, so you actually hear when you chirp, you actually do hear a bird chirp in response, but you can't tell if it's actually in the ceiling or just the sound is carrying through the vents.
Well, I feel satisfied either way that my friend is okay. So I'm placated for now, and I'm just enjoying being high up off the ground thanks to Demi's muscles. Thanks, Demi.
No problem.
Does anyone else want to do anything before we resolve all of the toilet flushing?
I'm gonna start turning off the taps because it really bugs me that they're running.
Okay, so you're just going behind Longfellow, turning off the taps as he turns them on.
I think that he's already like done all the taps and has moved on, and I can't stop the flushing, so I'm just gonna do what I can do.
Yeah, so the good news is that him
that
turning on the
attitude.
taps did nothing but waste water. So
I turn off.
so you have solved the Vermilion water crisis that Longfellow has created. But the downside is that once Longfellow gets to the stalls, when he flushes the furthest one from the door, you hear a ghostly like sort of a wailing yell, sort of like "Ooh!" Come out of it. And Longfellow is gonna have to make a roll on his body stat.
That didn't sound like water.
All right. So, oh, good. I'm -1 on body.
Body roll. Body roll.
So yeah, that leaves me with 3.
All right, sweet. So the kind of shock of this noise emanating from the toilet in the dark alarms you a bit. And you naturally you want to try and get away from it. But remember how you were asking about the cleanliness of the bathroom? This one stall, whoever used it last, was standing to pee, and they were not trying to aim. And
They
you
got
slipped,
spooked.
and you just biffed it hard on the bathroom floor.
As is tradition.
Yeah, perhaps it was that trucker who just left, and Peter tried to fight very unsuccessfully.
Does it kind of have his odor? Or?
But yeah, you
Does it smell like beef jerky?
Yeah, asking the real question.
just the most salty urine.
You get a little bit on the lip. Oh.
But yeah, Longfellow has biffed it in this puddle of salt smelling urine.
Oh, yikes.
But the good news is
I yelled, guys, it was a ghost. A ghost pushed me over.
You can tell just from the sound that it came from the kind of the furthest stall from the door, for the rest of you who were not flicking water tabs and flushing urinals.
Lifting people.
I mean, you can still hear things while lifting
Demi,
people.
how are you holding me? Am I like on your shoulders or like
I assume she kind of just like bicep curled you
like
up.
I'm like
right.
perched?
That's basically
Yeah.
That's
She's
what
got
I
a super buff
pictured.
arm.
perched.
She one of her shoulders is missing, I think. So
The whole
Well,
shoulder. Whoa.
I assumed. It
I
was
feel like the
right off.
shoulder is there. Shoulders there.
That's fair. It's your character.
Okay, so I like tug on Demi's mullet. I'm like, hey, let's go in that direction and see if
And,
Longfellow's
like,
okay
she just leads me with the mullet.
in the dark, just like towards Longfellow.
Demi, maybe stick your hand in the toilet or something.
We approach the toilet, and I'm gonna go in the toilet.
in the
'cause-
toilet.
Well, where is the sound coming from?
Just climb right down there.
I guess you could plunge your
in the
ghost arm into the
So
toilet.
I'm
'cause it
gonna
wouldn't-
ghost arm plunge the toilet.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
All right. Are you still
Happened.
holding Peter on your
What is
other,
this game?
on your other shoulder?
We made it.
Are you still holding Peter on your other
Yeah.
on your other shoulder?
Peter
Just
is
like holding on to mullet for dear life.
that's right.
Okay, I'm gonna get Peter to make a roll with the body stat to see how well that goes.
Body rolls. Body rolls.
Yeah, I got it 7.
All right, you are successfully able to use Demi's mullet to maintain your balance. It's a close call. You almost take a header into the wall when Demi leans over, but you're able to recover.
You feel anything in there, Demi?
That's what I'm trying to imagine.
And I'm helping up Dagbottom.
All right, so
Okay, so you shove your arm in the toilet,
yeah.
and the wailing gets louder when you do that.
So
So I'm going to like, what do you want to? You feel something down there. You
I do
can't tell what
feel
it is.
something done.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
you've grabbed
It's a
something.
ghost arm.
Can
It is-
I like do a perception check?
What are
like
you
a-
trying to do with that?
Sure.
I wanna see if I can sense any like animal energy coming from the toilet.
Okay. Make me a psyche roll, and we'll see if you sense anything.
It's 8.
+1.
It's an 8.
Oh, my, you're way ahead of me.
Okay,
Yeah,
so you
I can
got an
add.
8.
Yeah.
So you are able to determine definitively that there is some sort of like energy that a person would have.
Mm.
You know, you can feel that it has like a human like aura to whatever has just been grabbed in the drain.
Okay. I like yank really hard on Demi's mullet. I'm like, stop. It's not worth it. Don't do it. No. Just stop.
And I'm wondering what could be down inside a toilet that's intrinsically human.
Or way established, like-
Do you want to try to pull it out and find out?
Tug of war.
I get back up to my feet and I'm like, yeah, pull on it.
Tug
Pull on
of
it.
porcelain.
Okay, so I'm pulling on it.
Oh.
Okay.
And I don't how far does a person go with this shit?
Make a body roll.
It's like, am I supposed to make up what happens or what comes out of the toilet?
No, you're gonna make a body roll.
Roll for body.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Is it body if she's pulling with a ghost arm?
I'm gonna
Duh.
say body, yeah, because it's
All right.
there will be some level of strength involved.
Right.
So roll. But okay, also can I roll for body? Because I'm like pulling really hard on her hair at the same time.
Sure.
Okay.
Oh,
10.
9.
Okay, sorry, who got the 10?
I did. Demi wife to be exact.
And then Peter got a 9.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So with a mighty yank, Demi rips their ghost arm out of the toilet, and is holding a screaming sort of ectoplasmic green trucker by the ankle. And Peter's roll just means that you do not fall off backwards from Demi's shoulder.
I'm like flying around. It's like,
Yeah, you managed to stay on there and neither fall off nor slam your head through a ceiling tile.
okay.
Like one of
but
those
yeah.
wrestling
Right.
moves that where you like stay on someone's shoulders or
Did
shoulders. I
it
guess.
Really strong like hair follicles that don't like, rip out. Seriously.
Damn straight. So now I'm wondering,
Mhm.
has our pizza ghost crew come up with some sort of storage device or some shit for
Oh,
this thing I'm holding?
yeah, what do we have for this thing I'm holding?
Are we prepared for
I,
this?
I feel like no, because I think we were all pretty uncertain of whether ghosts like this is the most tangible ghost I think we've found so far.
Wait, can we
So-
all see it, or can only Demi feel it?
Demi can feel it, and you guys can all see like sort of the ghostly outline. But Demi can see more of the details that it is in fact some sort of trucker ghost.
Hey, do
Oh,
we have a
so
cooler
from
in
my
the truck?
From my perspective, do I just see Demi like fly back out of the toilet, just like, just kind of like just not holding anything?
No, you guys see sort of like the kind of rough outline of a person, but all the details are sort of just like a bright green blob. Like you can't see any details, you just see sort of a shape. Whereas Demi can see the actual sort of details of what they are holding with their ghost arm.
I feel like this is the first time that I have seen like a ghost this certainly. So I'm like, holy shit, we gotta put in something. And I head out into the convenience store and I start like emptying out like, you know, one of those ice cream coolers with like the slidey tops. And I'm like, put it in the cooler. And so I just like start ripping all the ice cream out of the cooler and being like, put it in here.
I washed my hands because I helped Longfellow up after he slipped and pee.
Yeah, I did not wash my hands.
I washed my hands. Important things.
All right. So you have an ice cream cooler and the ghost.
I go
So
out to help him steer it into and open the door and stuff. Like I go help him retrieve the ice cream cooler and I grab an ice cream too.
Yeah, the ice cream is melting, so I start eating it and I'm
I
like
grab
throwing
one.
it to my friends. Like, have some ice cream. It's gonna melt. You're gonna make a mess. And I just start distributing it. Oh, I wash my hands.
I just shake my head. So we have the cooler in the bathroom now?
Yeah, I'll say that it's probably not. With the two of you, I think you can get that in there. You're not gonna have to roll. You
Wait,
can
is
just
is
kinda
there a
empty
place we can plug it in the bathroom? I always thought we were gonna
Does it
drag the
need to be-
ghost.
No,
out
I
and put
thought
it-
that we dragged it through the convenience store to
Do we
the.
knock anything over? That's the next question.
Oh, you know what? You are gonna make one of you make a body roll to determine how well you were able to successfully maneuver this thing. Like you'll get it into the bathroom. That
I will-
isn't in question, but how much destruction you cause on the way there is.
I will make a body roll.
Sure.
Okay. To drag in the cooler.
Let's see. 8 plus 8 minus 1, 7.
Okay.
I thought I had
that
good
is
body.
still a success. You get the cooler in there and you manage to. There's a bunch of close calls and Dale cringes real hard as he watches what you're doing, but you manage to not actually damage anything other than the large amount of ice cream that was thrown on the floor.
I mean, some of it didn't go to waste. That's all right.
I say, don't worry, Dale, you got it covered. And I throw in some ice cream.
Quickly losing interest in this like human ghost, I jump off Demi from the very top of Demi's being, which seems really high for someone as small as me, and make my way to go eat some ice cream.
All right, make a body roll to see how jumping off of Demi goes.
Roll down the bottom.
Oh no, I got a 2.
Oh no.
You pretty much just go straight down into the stall next to the one that was haunted.
Oh, gee.
So you're just sort of like in a heap on the ground in the next bathroom stall over.
Aren't we like not in the bathroom right now anymore?
No,
No,
you're just
apparently
standing
we
out,
dragged the
like in
cooler
front
into
of
the
the
bathroom.
stall.
We dragged the cooler into the
That
bathroom.
wasn't my idea.
Yeah.
Trevor and Longfellow.
They brought the cooler to you. They're helping.
Yeah.
All right.
Service.
I must have missed that.
So did we find a place in the bathroom we can plug it in?
Well, it's a bathroom, so there's not a lot of outlets that can handle like an industrial cooler.
I feel like it
well,
doesn't
then
need to
the
be
ghost
cold,
is gonna
does
get
it?
all warm.
Does that matter, Longfellow? I think just like a container is good enough. You know, we haven't really done this too many times, so maybe I don't know.
Well, no, Longfellow didn't say it. I said it. Okay.
Well,
so,
I just say that to Longfellow anyway, because I see him looking for a plugin.
Well, I didn't say anything, Trevor. Why are you talking to me? Okay, why don't we throw the ghost into here, and then maybe we should go plug it in, or I don't know. Let's just get the ghost in here.
Okay.
Are you still holding the ghost? Is she still holding the ghost?
I thought it was in the cooler.
Not yet.
Not
I'm
yet.
still holding the ghost.
Yeah.
You're holding the ghost,
Danny,
and there's
Danny,
a
put it in the
cooler.
cooler.
We
There's
have
no
yet to
time to
combine
waste. The
those
ice
two
cream is
things.
melting. Just throw it in there.
Okay, I gotta throw it in the. Okay. Let's get this bitch in here.
I don't know how
All
I feel
right.
about that term, but absolutely, let's do it.
Well, the ghost is kind of fighting you,
But
like struggling.
Right, and then my giant she arm is strong enough.
Okay.
and I-
so-
Do I do an action now? I don't know. Do I
yeah,
roll
make
dice?
a roll to see if you can shove the ghost into the cooler and close it.
Can I lend a hand by closing the door for her?
9?
Sure.
Awesome.
I got a
So-
9.
Okay. Do you want to make a roll, Junkie Trevor, to help?
Just one die?
2.
2. 8 again. Is there any modifier on that one?
It would be your body because it's a
Okay, so
quickness.
7 again. 7.
Okay. So that will give Demi a bonus,
Yay.
which will put it to a 10. So you pretty much just like with your ghost arm, just like wind up and windmill slam this
Yes,
ghost
that is correct.
into the ice cream bin. And Junkie Trevor slides the door shut. And now you've got a ghost banging on the inside of an ice cream container.
Wow. Demi, you're really good at this.
I kind of like roll over and like shake off the pain of falling from the top of Demi's head onto the floor and attempt to like get up and go sneak a peek at the ghost inside the cooler, hoping that there's also ice cream in there.
I want to
there-
go up to. No, go ahead.
There's not ice cream in there anymore, but if you glance out the bathroom door, there is a large amount of it in a heap on the floor.
Okay, I run over to that and just like start eating it happily and blissfully ignorant and not caring about the ghost.
So is the proprietor? His name is Dale, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna go up to Dale and be like, "Hey, Dale, listen, you're a trucker. You got those things, right? You secure loads with them." And he doesn't know what a ratchet strap is. Yeah, it's like it's got like a really strong flat rope, and
I go over
it's
and
got,
try
like,
to
the
help
big
explain.
belt
You know,
buckle
like
on it,
long
and
johns
it
or
goes
something.
Gronk, 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 gronk. Whenever you pull on it, do you have those for your truck? Can we keep it in the cooler with that?
Well, I own a truck stop. I don't have a truck, but yeah, I'm sure we can get some for you. So
And
he
I mutter under my
like,
breath, "What kind of truck stop owner doesn't even own a truck?" But I say that really quietly.
So he goes out and he comes back a few minutes later with the trucker from earlier, who's got a bunch of ratchet straps. And yeah, you are handed a bunch of ratchet straps to close the ice cream thing.
Okay, I pass on the ratchet straps to my coworkers here, and then I pass some ice cream to the trucker, and I'm like, "Hey, sorry about Sorry about earlier. I didn't mean to be weird.
He's like, yeah, no
It's
problem.
all good. No, it's all good. Yeah, take some ice cream for the ratchet straps, or you can work out a deal with the owner here. But we got to keep that ghost trapped. Okay, bye. And
He hears the phrase "ghost trapped" and is just like, and starts just walking slowly backwards out of the out of the convenience store.
I mean, that definitely works for me. I'm gonna head to our van and get a box out of our van big enough to put all of the ice creams into. And I just look at Dale and I'm like, hey, so we'll just take these as payment. Like, it looks like you got nowhere to store them. So anyway, good luck with that ghost. And I just load up the ice cream and put it in our van. And
I give you a dirty look and quickly jump into the box of ice cream.
At this point, this is like our first ghost, so I'm thinking that Junkie Trevor should pull out their junkie camera and maybe take a
really
picture.
Wonder where that sentence was going.
Of our ghost. We need something on the pamphlet. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, that's really smart, Demi. I just carry my this old camera that I fixed up from the dump. It's like one of those disposable cameras, but I don't know how, really, it was magic, made it work again. Okay, so hold on. Longfellow's already in the truck with the payment. He's planning on leaving the ghost here? Question mark.
Yeah, I'm laying on the horn. Okay, let's go, guys.
Oh, okay.
Let's go.
So I run in, I take a few artsy photos of just like the bathroom as a whole and the door with my sign on it with my serial killer letters, but like Ghostbuster being in progress. I don't have great linguistic abilities.
Ice cream wrapper up to it to make an Instagram filter.
Yeah, exactly. And so the artsy photos are done, and then I make sure I get one of the cooler straight into the cooler, take a picture. The straps are all done. We did that. They're on tight. In one way, one the other way. And yeah, I take all those fun photos and I kind of mosey on out of there.
All right, are we all in the vehicle?
Yep.
All right. I think we all air five each other and drive off. And
we're all sitting directly beside each other, and we all air five.
No, so
just high five forward.
No, I mean like a big Voltron high five where we all.
No, you said air five, so we all just in every different direction. Ah!
I feel like what would happen is I try to high five everyone, and everyone else just air fives because they know I piss on my hands. If we're being honest,
that's pretty accurate. Yeah, I did not see you wash your hands that whole time.
All right,
that
sounds like an act right to
steering wheel
me.
of the van now too. That's gonna
Oh,
be all
yeah.
over the steering wheel now too.
The horn, everything. I'm gonna have to sterilize that thing for sure. All right, so I guess we're heading back to the base. Successful mission accomplished.
You've completed your mission and left Dale with a ghost inside of an ice cream.
I was gonna say, I think we're gonna
container.
get a really bad review. We just came in there, fucked up a store, threw ice cream everywhere,
wasted some
I
water.
know it sounds bad when you put it like that, Katie, but that is our most successful ghost hunt so far.
If he's gonna pay us an ice cream, he's gonna get
No,
ice
we
cream's
just-
worth ghost busting.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
You just leave.
All right, Jeff. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for jamming for us. Do you want to plug your stuff?
Yeah. So I write and draw comics. I have a webcomic online that I post a new one every Monday. It's called Hell Inc. It's about demons who work in the office that manages hell. And I'm also serializing my next graphic novel on my Patreon. It is called Hockey Apocalypse Slashers. It's like a YA horror story about mutants playing hockey in post-apocalypse Canada.
Nice.
And patrons will be able to see new pages of that as I draw them.
And don't you also have like a game company that's about to come out with a role-playing game, or is that still a secret?
We're still working on it.
Ooh.
Caitlin has gotten very busy with her soap business.
Oh, do you want to plug that?
Yeah, Caitlin has an Etsy store called Soaps and Sorcery. She sells soap. It is very good.
Jeff, does she sell it by the seashore?
She also sells it at Pe Metawe Games. You can buy
Pe
it from
Metawe,
there.
that's exactly right.
That's Pe Metawe Games at 11805 94th Street.
Yes, pretend I said it properly the first time.
But we also
post, fix it in post.
we also encourage all of our customers to buy directly from the creators when you can. So definitely check out Soaps and Sorcery on Etsy.
Yep, that's on Etsy.
Yeah, awesome soaps. We use all our staff uses them, and we love them.
Cool.
It is the only soap I use now because my house is full of it.
Because there's no other soap.
I mean, there is other soap. We just don't really use it anymore. It has become the guest soap.
Bree and Katie, is there anything you want to, anything on the whole world you want to plug? You can each plug one thing.
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
So, well, I mean, you want people to like. I mean, I feel like we can not stress it enough. Like, you could use more donors for your program.
Oh, yeah, I think we've touched on that. I don't know, be kind, be compassionate. And I think, as Canadians, all of us should take a look at the Truth and Reconciliation calls to action. Just
Can I
plug that in there? Yeah.
Can I ask a question? I didn't get a chance to ask a question in the interview.
Oh, yeah.
Kelly, permission to ask a question?
It's Paige is the host. Don't ask me.
Paige, permission to ask a question?
Take it away.
What's the, and you guys said you were transparent, so I'm not going to be awkward asking this question. What's the highest single donation you've received so far?
300?
yeah, I think it's
from-
like 300. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Moni's mom donated.
All right. Well, on behalf of Kelly and Pe Metawe Games, we'll do a $300 donation next week. So you
Oh
can,
my God.
it'll be a co-donation between Born Under Punches and Pe Metawe Games.
Interesting.
Oh, thank you. That's so kind of you.
It sure is. Yeah.
Thank you,
I
Kelly.
had that plan till just now. Yeah, and Paige, do you have anything you want to shout out?
Shout out this show. I am apparently the sincere host, so come back and watch me if you don't want to laugh, because I am so sincere.
And where can they find the show, Paige, if they don't know?
Pe Metawe Games. It's Twitch stream, I think.
So the show will be live for the foreseeable future at Pe Metawe Games at 11805 94th Street, right in the heart of Albert Avenue. The shop technically closes at 8, but any guests that arrive here by showtime will be welcome to stay and watch for as long as they'd like. You can also watch on this very stream or on our YouTube channel. Or rather Kelly's YouTube channel. The Twitch stream is twitch.tv/Pe Metawe with us, PEMETAWE with us. And Kelly, you want to go ahead and drop the YouTube channel?
Yeah, if by my YouTube channel you mean the show YouTube channel. So we're Born Under Punches on YouTube, spelled like you think it is. It's the only social media account we have that's spelled like you think it is. And yeah, I don't know. Paige, what do you think? Do I have permission to wrap up with an anecdote?
Yeah. I don't. Yeah, of course.
Thank you for your glowing endorsement. I just wanted, well, because we were talking about Vermilion today, I want to talk about that. I was in Vermilion recently, and like, it's very different there with COVID. There's less to do, and like, yeah, I mean, you know how it is for kids. Like, it's hard to get told you can't do things. So, I was talking to this person I was staying with, and we were looking out the window, and their kid was out there sitting with the cow, right where the milk comes out, and just like bat, bat, bat with his fist, like just like, and not even like enthusiastically, just kind of like lazily striking the cow with his fist. And I was like, what's going on? And my friend was like, like he's got nothing to do. I don't really stop him. Like, we're hoping it'll kind of pass on its own, but for now, when he's really feeling like glum, he just goes out and does his bored utter punches.
What in the actual?
Thank you for that anecdote, Kelly. That was our show tonight. And we're done.
Kelly, that was
That's it. Music time. No more talking.
Bye bye.